So I went to the range today, and among the guns that I brought with me, I brought my KSG. Because I figured I only fired one tube through it before, so I figured I'd fire a couple more tubes through it. And as such, I'm going to give a little update on my for my video on the KSG. And a few things of note about it is one downside, one kind of major negative for me for the KSG is that the KSG throws the shell straight down, and I found that holding the gun in a comfortable manner ended up resulting in the shells slamming straight down onto my arm. Now I'm sure with future shooting events that taking it out to shoot it some more, I'll find a better way to hold it so that the shells are not hitting me. However, I found that they tended to hit you. And the main negative to that was when you cycle the gun rapidly, especially on the ejection stroke, and even relatively mild cycling, because near the end of firing off both tubes, I started cycling slower, hoping the shells would hit me, not quite as hard. And I found that they still did. And it actually started getting somewhat painful for the shells smacking into your arm. Now, this isn't so much an issue for the gun's intended use, which is self-defense, in which case you're probably so hyped up on adrenaline at this point anyway that you're really not noticing the shells hitting your arm, and you probably, if you fire at all, are firing one or two shots. The total 14, 16 plus 1 that the shotgun holds is somewhat overkill, which makes it nice because in one way I don't have a problem, for instance, clearing my house with just the gun and no extra ammunition, because the gun holds so much ammunition for a shotgun as it is. But if you're planning on taking it to the range for a day of shotgun shooting, there are other shotguns I think would be better, namely any shotgun that doesn't eject straight down onto your arm. So, for instance, for me, that would be my MKA 1919. But pretty much any other shotgun is going to be a better shotgun to take to the range. That being said, it is a blast. Now, I did notice, as a positive, it's very easy to cycle this shotgun very quickly. Now, my shotgun, as you'll notice from the picture, has a stubby foregrip, and the way I hold it is kind of on it, kind of off of it, where my hand is mostly on the side, and I'm using that grip more as a extra leverage to pull back, so I don't have to worry about my hand slipping, and therefore I don't have to hold the front of the gun quite as hard. And I found it to be very comfortable to hold the shotgun that way. And I also found while I was at the range that you can actually pump this shotgun pretty dang fast. Now, another note is, as you'll notice, I have a EOTech 512. The reason I went with the 512 is that it takes AA batteries, and they're readily available, and I didn't have to worry about stockpiling CR123s or other special batteries. And one of the positives to the EOTech I found was the 65 MOA circle at my hallway distances. So, we're talking something in the neighborhood of maybe 8 yards at most. I don't even think it was 8 yards that I was at, but pretty much at my hallway distances, the shotgun spread with double odd buck is exactly the same as the size of that reticule. Pretty much every shell fell within it, and a good, they had a nice patterning that covered that point. And I found that it did it consistently. So it allowed me to acquire and fire on targets much faster than if I'm just trying to get a dot onto the target, because I got this great big circle to look at, and as soon as that circle starts to get lined up, I just pull the trigger, and some of the pellets are going to hit inside the target area that I want to hit. And if I wait just a fraction of a second longer for the whole circle to get onto the target, every pellet's going to hit on that target. So those are a few positives, and they are a few considerations to make. I actually personally strongly recommend putting in EOTech, any of the EOTechs, because they all use the same reticule, on a Kel-Tec KSG. Now, I'm not entirely sure how the spread's going to be on my MKA versus the EOTech, but since I don't have an EOTech on it and it's not my main home defense shotgun, I'm not as worried about that. But at least for my KSG, an EOTech is an absolute winner for me. So that's all I have for that now, and I may post a few other videos on some of the other guns I brought. I actually brought 4 with me. I brought the KSG, the SHTF-50, and the Mosin Nagant. The 4th one I didn't get to shoot was my 22 semi-automatic pistol. I forget the name of it. But anyway, unfortunately, my key broke for its locked case, so I was not able to bring it out to shoot. You know, I brought it with me. And the funny thing is that was the main gun I was bringing out to shoot today. Luckily, I brought the backups, or I would have had nothing to do while I was at the range. Anyway, have a good day.